Welcome back to Studio 5. Mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law don't always speak the same language, but there are ways to prevent the miscommunication and avoid misunderstandings. Today, insight into what those mixed messages really mean. Therapist Julie Hanks is here to help you read between the lines and build a stronger relationships. Okay, so it's easy to classify that mother-in-law into the stereotypical attitude. There's that movie Monster-in-Law. It's easy to roll your eyes and just go with it. But you say sometimes mothers-in-law say things and they don't exactly mean what they say. Right.
So sometimes those critical or seemingly critical comments or insensitive comments, really there's some emotional plea underneath that if daughter-in-laws could understand, it would all make sense and there wouldn't be as much tension.
So what's at the heart of this then, this tension and this contention that surfaces in these relationships?
Think about it. I mean, there's the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law are competing for the same man's attention in a different way, obviously. But as a mother of two sons myself, I'm starting to go, I see that there's some loss involved when a son gets married. I'm the one who gave him birth, right? And so there's this kind of triangle of you both wanting the attention, affection of the son, but it doesn't have to be a negative experience if the daughter-in-law and mother-in-law understand each other.
So you've worked to identify 5 things a mother-in-law should never say. First, we'll play the positive card. How would you quickly define a healthy relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law?
A healthy relationship is really being able to be genuine and kind, to bring up concerns when they come up or say, ooh, that kind of hurt my feelings. What did you mean by that? Having a sensitivity, but not an oversensitivity to comment.
Okay, topping your list of what not to say, comments that can sting. Here's one. My kids never did that. My kids never did that.
Oh, my kids never did that. And that for a daughter-in-law, that is such a, stab in the heart, right?
Well, so what am I doing wrong then?
Right, or she doesn't think I'm good enough. So really what that's about is the mother-in-law wanting acknowledgement that she did a good job as a parent. So you'll notice a theme in a lot of these topics is there's a need that the mother-in-law has to be acknowledged and validated. Right? So if the daughter-in-law can, instead of go, how dare you criticize my parenting, go, well, tell me what you mean. What would you have done here? And be open instead of going, I'm not good enough.
Kind of give them a chance to shine.
Right. That's really what's underneath a lot of the parenting criticism.
Okay. All right. This next one, another loaded comment, but a really common one. When are you going to give me grandchildren? Or when are you going to have another baby?
Right. It's like, whose business is that anyway? So what the mother-in-law, the translation, the mother-in-law is really saying, I'm excited to have a grandchild. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. And so for the daughter-in-law, it feels like pressure or come on, get busy.
Right.
But it's really, I'm excited. So if you can, as the daughter-in-law, think, okay, she's excited, that's good. That's good. And we're going to do it in our own time.
I was going to say, as a daughter-in-law, can you gently correct those comments?
Yes, definitely. You can say, you know what? Please trust us. And you'll be among the first to know.
Good line. I like that. Okay, a line not to say on the flip side. I always clean this way. I always organize this way. My way is the best way.
Right. So underneath that correction or criticism is the mother-in-law saying, I need some acknowledgement for how I do things and all of this experience that I've had as a homemaker. And in fact, this came up in my own mother-in-law relationship when I was engaged. We were making cookies and doing laundry, my husband and I, at my mother-in-law's house. Well, he was my fiance at the time. And she was kind of saying, well, don't you want to put the pan in the middle? Or don't you want to use this? Or, oh, well, that's too much soap. So she was kind of doing these kinds of things that
kind
I
of
felt
subtle.
Yeah, and I felt like, well, does she not trust me? And so we actually sat down with her and said, what's really going on? And she actually cried, and she said, I don't feel like I'm really a part of the planning of the wedding. And I was like, oh, we can deal with that. Thank you for telling me. So underneath that was this need to be more included and more valued and have more of a say.
Well, and it's such an interesting dynamic because you often think of your mother or your in-laws as kind of more mature, more wise, more smart, but when you get to the root of this, they have needs just like we do.
Right. They have the experience, but they also have the same emotional needs. And behind every criticism or perceived criticism is an emotional plea. And if daughter-in-laws can, if we can remember that, there's some emotional need under here that she's asking for. What is that? And address that. That's a great point of connection.
Help translate this line for us. He was mine first. Ouch. That just stings saying it.
Right. So underneath that, he was mine first, is this is my baby. I acknowledge that I care about him, and then I'm scared to lose him.
Okay.
I'm scared.
And quickly, can we get to the last one?
Yeah.
Because this is what I've heard, actually. I've heard, have you put on weight?
Have you put on weight? Or I heard there's, well, have you heard of Weight Watchers?
Oh.
Yeah, ouch, you don't want to do that. So mother-in-laws, never mention weight.
That's just a no-go.
And really what that's about is the mother-in-law's concerned about appearance.
Yeah.
And about hers and yours.
Okay.
And that's a common concern, but zip it.
Yeah, that's a no. Please. Good decoding, Julie. Good decoding,
Thanks,
good insight, as always, to all of our relationships, really. We'll post more tips for you on our website, and right now we'll send it over to Darren.
Thanks.